Welcome to section 10. I'll continue with the discussion of the marketing mix variables, but I'll focus now on price decisions. I'm sure we all know what prices. We've paid prices before. Some are fortunate, they've charged others prices. In this section, we'll look at what firms do when they are pricing and how they apply different pricing strategies to be able to sell their products. Now, one of the 4 P's of the marketing mix, apart from product promotion and place, is pricing. Although it is not easy defining price in real life situations, because of its many dimensions, we can commonly say that price is what is charged for something. Now, what this means that the price is the amount of money charged for a product or service, or the sum of values that consumers exchange for the benefits of having or using the product or service. Kotler and Armstrong. Pricing is important because it is the only mix that brings in revenue. All the elements of the marketing mix, that's the product, the place, and the promotion, they take money away. Prices bring the money back. Pricing is also very important because it actually communicates product quality to customers. Therefore, the higher the price, the higher the perceived quality. Pricing is equally important because to consumers, that is what influences their demand for goods and services. Whether they can buy product A or product B will be influenced by the price that is prevailing on the market. Now, you come to realize that pricing has different names to different people depending on where they work. For example, if you work in a bank, the price you charge is called an interest. If you work in an educational institution like Legon, the price you charge is called a fee. If you work on the motorway, for example, the price you charge is called a toll. It simply means that price has different names for different people. No matter the name, pricing is important for every business organization to prosper and grow. Before you price, there are certain factors you have to think of. The company objectives, taxes and levies, the cost of producing the items, prices of substitutes, demand facing the item, a combination of multiple orders or lines. These are some of the factors that people consider before they price their products. And like I said, pricing is important because it's the only element of the P that is able to actually generate income. It's the most flexible or adjustable of all the marketing management decisions. Price of all product trigger customer perceptions of product quality, and it's a source of competitive advantage and reaction. The process of pricing. Have you sold something before? How did you arrive at the final price you charge? I'm sure when we go through the process of pricing, you understand how you yourself been pricing things. First, you determine the pricing objectives. What do you want to achieve by charging a particular price? Is it that you want to penetrate the market? Is it that you want to make profit? Is it that you want to communicate some quality image? You determine the pricing objective. You also determine the cost of manufacturing the product. The cost must include both fixed and variable, or variable and fixed. You determine the demand for the product. In simple terms, demand could be elastic or inelastic, and price could vary depending on each of them. Look at how much competitors are charging for similar offers. Select a pricing method, select a pricing strategy, and the 7th one is select a final price. The methods of pricing. How do we finally arrive at how we price? There are 3 methods of pricing products and services. We have what we call the cost-based pricing. There are some who price based on their cost of inputs. Competition-based pricing. There are some who price by relating their price to what the competitors are charging in the market. And then there are some who price based on the value you attach to the product or the demand that is facing their product. So these three methods, we shall briefly go into them and see what they represent. For example, if it's cost-based, the first one is what we call the cost plus pricing. It is a cost plus profit. So that is the commonest method that is used. You only take your cost, put all the costs together, mark up this cost, and then you have your selling price. Very easy, straightforward to do. Then you have the value-based pricing, for example. Here, people charge the products based on the value people attach to it. So that if you have a Lexus, the price of a Lexus is normally based on the perceived value that is attached to Lexus. And so the price is not just based on value, but it's based on the perceived value. Then competition based. Sometimes it makes sense to charge the same price as your competitors on the market. Go and look at the gas stations. Government comes out with the price of fuel, and all of them are supposed to charge that price. So their price is based on what is prevailing on the market, rather than what you want to charge. Then you have what we call the pricing strategies that firms can implement. When firms have, these pricing strategies could vary depending on the new product, depending on the promotional pricing, depending on the geographical pricing, depending on the product mix pricing, and price discrimination. These are the pricing strategies that firms normally will come out with. So let's look at new product pricing. When firms have new product, they have two options. They either go for a high price, which is market skimming pricing, or go for a low pricing, which is a market penetration pricing. If it's skimming, they'll start from a high price and reduce the price. If it's penetration, you start from a low price and increase the price. Then promotional pricing. Sometimes companies price so that they can promote the goods and services they have. Now, there are two major or three major types, and I'll explain them. One is what we call the loss leader pricing, or the loss leaders. This is used by retail outlets like ShopRite. What firms normally do here is that they reduce the price of one of the items and advertise that to people. For example, they can pick a blender and say they are selling the blender for 10 cedis. The difference between the actual cost and the promoted cost is shared on all the other products. And so when people are invited to the shop, they'll buy the product whose price has gone down. But if they pick any other product, they're actually paying for the loss. That is what we call the loss leaders pricing. Or you can have a small variation of this, which is called bait pricing. In bait pricing, you pick the same item, you reduce the price, you put it out, you advertise it, but when people come to the shop, normally you tell them that that product is finished, but you have other good ones. Your aim is to bait them to the shop to come and buy the other products. But people will normally argue with you, especially if they were the first to arrive in the shop. And so what companies do is that they put a limited quantity on sale. As soon as those quantities is finished, because the aim is not to sell but to promote the shop, they direct all incoming people to the other products and services there. You can think about the cash rebate. In a cash rebate, whenever you buy something, a percentage of price is refunded to you. It's a special sales promotion pricing or special event pricing. Some companies or some individuals organize certain events and they charge abnormal prices and they call it special event pricing. For example, if one of these American musicians come to Ghana, you should see how they will charge that event. Geographical pricing. If you are a firm and you are operating in a wide geographical area, you use geographical pricing strategies to be able to take care of the geographical differences in the market. You charge from FOB pricing, uniform delivered pricing, and CIF pricing, for example. If it's uniform delivered pricing, you are charging the same price to everybody, like we do to petrol in Ghana. If it's FOB pricing, it is called free on board pricing. Here, the price will be the cost of the items plus transport to the port and the rest you pay the port charges, you pay the shipping charges, you pay the insurance yourself. But if it's CIF, then the price includes the cost of the item, transport to the port, shipping, and insurance. Then some people will do product mix pricing. They have so many products. They want to sell the product in such a way that people would see products being sold rather than individuals. So when people have different products, they look for pricing strategies that they would use to maximize their returns. And one of them is what they call captive pricing. If it's a captive pricing, it is used by firms that produce two complementary items that must be used together. They will mark up one and mark down the other. So for example, you are selling printers and you are selling cartridges or toners. You mark down the printer and you mark up the toner, so that when people buy the printer and they come to buy the toner later on, you make your margin there. We call it captive pricing. Or you have what we call the optional feature pricing. Here, what companies will do is that they will design the standard product and design optional features which you can buy and add. So yes, you can go and buy the standard car, but if you want an alloy rim, you must pay for it. That is an optional feature which you buy and add to your product. Then you have price discrimination. Sometimes companies, this strategy is about charging different prices to people with the difference not being influenced by your cost. And then examples here are pricing that is based on time. For example, the time you buy the item may influence the price you pay. Or the location where you buy the item would also influence how much you pay. For example, if you go to the stadium, where you sit determines how much you pay. Thank you. We have come to the end of slide 10.